Thank you, Lord, for every blessing.
Good morning. This morning I'm going to read out of Ephesians chapter 5 to be exact, verses 25 through 29. This goes with part of my testimony, and then I got a little story to tell after that. I'm trying to keep these short and sweet. Sometimes they might run long, but I feel like I've got a lot to tell after my accident. So, verse 25, husbands, love your wives just as Christ also loved the church and gave himself for her, that he might sanctify and cleanse her with the washing of water by the word, that he might present her to himself a glorious church, not having spot or wrinkle or anything, but that she should be holy and without blemish. So husbands ought to love their own wives as their own bodies. He who loves his wife loves himself. For no one ever hated his own flesh, but nourishes and cherishes it, just as the Lord does the church. And I was laying in the hospital almost 5 months. When you're laying there like that and can't do anything, you can't hardly move, you can't get up by yourself, you got to depend on everybody, you get a lot of time to reflect on life. And one day when I woke up and realized how selfish I had been by putting myself first all the time and not putting God first, and then my wife, I realized, I rolled over, laid my head over. I couldn't roll over, but Ray was there with me 24/7. She would come home every other day or so and take a bath and check on the boys, make sure everything was going right here at the house, because, excuse me, she had already hired a contractor to start remodeling to make it more wheelchair friendly. Thank God I did not have to stay in the wheelchair long. I just kept pushing, and now I can get around with a cane. But, you know, you had her bathrooms remodeled so we could get in and out of them easier. I mean, she was just on top of it, right by my side. I was laying there one day and it just hit me like lightning. I was like, you know what? I have not done this woman right. I have not put her first because I've always put myself first, buying what I wanted and never asking her what she needed or what she wanted. And I looked at her one day, I was like, why did you ever never say anything and just let me keep doing that when we should have been discussing everything? She just looked at me and said, because I wanted you happy. Man, I broke down. I'm like, what did I do to deserve that? Deserve her? I mean, that's just how good God is. He gives somebody to just let me do whatever I wanted to do without thinking of the consequences and what I was doing to everybody else. So from that, I looked at her and I said, Lord, please forgive me. I said, I'm going to change, and I have changed, and now I look more of what we need. And if she wants something, I don't say anything. Get it, baby. You deserve it. So I just want you guys that are married now to realize, put God first and then put your wife before you. And if she tells you something, you might want to listen, because there's been a lot of times she has said, Ray, do you really need that? And I'd go buy it anyway. Then I'd get buyer's remorse. And buyer's remorse is, that's the Lord telling you, you shouldn't have bought that. Because when you bought it, the devil was letting you feel good for purchasing it. You know, we've never hurt for anything. All our bills have always been paid. So if I saw something, I wanted it. But now, I think back on it, I should have listened to her a lot more. There's a lot to a wisdom of a woman. And I'm admitting that. So that's what I wanted to read to you guys this morning and tell part of my testimony, that I really have had a faithful, good, loving wife. This past July, we were married 32 years. And I think back to this 32 years, like I've said earlier in my testimonies, that if Ray wanted it, Ray went and got it. He didn't think about the consequences afterwards. That just weren't the way to be. So now we're putting God first, praying more together, and life is wonderful. So with that being said, God bless y'all and have a great day. I love
Thank
you all.
Lord, for every blessing and every day that I breathe.